everyone. Welcome to the Daily Grind. My name is Kelly Johnson, your fun and friendly host. We are on episode 41, the very best one yet. Shout out to my podcast network, Ambiguous Network, and their fellow pods on there, including UMAD Bro, the Sam Bustle podcast, GDP, Goal Driven Professionals. Excited to announce we just launched our new website, ambiguouspodcastsolutions.com. If this is your first episode with us, your ninth one listening to, or right on track with episode 41, we appreciate your being your podcast of choice today. So help us grow, share this episode with a friend, and give us a rating and quick review. Virtual high five to you in advance. So on to the best part of our pod, talking to a new special guest to share their story. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Tori Maldonado. So Tori, she is currently a student at Loyola University of Chicago and a local Chicago tennis player and enthusiast. She currently lives and works in the Chicago area, and overall great person to have on our show today. So welcome, Tori. Woo woo!
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on our show today, Tori, and hear more about your story and share it with our listeners. So I guess first and foremost, you want to tell them who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, of course, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome, guys. This is kind of nerve-wracking. This is my first rodeo with a podcast besides doing it for like school purposes, of course. But I am 21 years old. I do actually go to Loyola University of Chicago. I am a junior. I will be graduating in the May of 2021. I'm actually graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Neuroscience with a minor in psychology. I want to be the next Derek Shepard, actually, with the next Meredith Grey, which will be my husband next to me, hopefully. If not, I'll find somebody just like him. With that being said, I want to go to third world countries before I do my doctorate here in Chicago. With that being said, I also do work full time. I work at a medical cannabis dispensary. I work with patients who have neuropathy, patients who have Parkinson's, patients who have any type of chronic illness, migraines, everything like that. It's actually a really fun job. I switched from a hospital to here not too long ago. The craziest job I've had, and also the best job I've had so far. So it's very, very fun. And as Kelly did say, I am a tennis enthusiast. I actually have been playing tennis for the last 14 years, which is very, very long. Some people say that you find a sport and you fall in love with it as soon as you pick it up. And I guess you can say that that is what I did. A little bit more about myself is that I am the oldest of 5 children. My mom had me at a young age, so I am the oldest. My brother, who is 18, I believe he is turning. I don't know, kind of get lost after a while, after the birthdays pass. But I'm the oldest, and I have 3 brothers, and then I have a little sister who just came out of the womb. So that is some stuff about me.
Yeah, wow. I like it. Very, very good. You did a way better intro than me. That's why I kept it short, listeners out there, because Tori just killed it. Such a natural. But I love the Grey's Anatomy reference. I like it.
Yeah, I love Grey's Anatomy. I cried when Derek Shepard died. I honestly did.
That's okay. This is going out to all of our listeners out here. So there's a lot of other people out too. I mean, it's a great show, but I think it's great that.
Oh gosh, I hope no, but I hope I didn't ruin it for anybody. I mean, like we have so many seasons of it though, so I mean, if you haven't caught up, that's very bad.
Yeah, exactly. Especially during this time too. I mean, it's tough to social distance. With social distancing, a lot of people are on Netflix, Hulu, and whatnot. So definitely a good show to recommend though to watch if you haven't already.
Best show ever, honestly. If you're ready to have a tear-jerking night or just fall in love all over again, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, lots of good emotional stories and whatnot. But yeah, let's get right back into your story. So, Tori, you threw a lot of stuff at me. So, tennis and also what you currently study at Loyola. Let's start with tennis. How did you become interested in tennis?
So I became interested in tennis. So I grew up in the inner city of Chicago. For my first 7 years of being brought into this beautiful planet from my lovely mother, since I had no choice but to be here, you know. With that being said, I was in gym class one day and I hit the racket. I hit the ball over the net, and my gym teacher, John Neal, actually from Walsh Academy, actually, he referred me to Mark Reverman, who was a uh, tennis instructor for Pilsen Junior Tennis Camp. So that same weekend, I went and met Mark. And when I met Mark, I was a very, very angry and very, I guess you'd say, I had an attitude on me. I was like a firecracker. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say I was mean, but I was ready to fight anything and everything. So I gave Mark a run for his money. So I began to work with Mark. He's been my coach ever since. He brought me a lot of uh, determination, stability, and he pushed me to my limits. Sometimes he'd make me cry because he'd make me run drills, or he'd make me run way too much, and it was way past my running capacity. But then again, he also showered me with a lot of tough love when it came to losing a match or winning a match. He showed me that winning wasn't everything, but the way I began to better myself and to learn how to play the game of tennis, not only on the court, but also within my mind and in my everyday life, helped a lot as well. With that being said, Mark also helped me find programs in the Chicagoland area, such as the Tennis Opportunity Program at Midtown Tennis Club, which allowed basically lower income families or single parent households who didn't have all the uh, income or all the benefits to like pay for tennis lessons and tennis programs or tennis like uh, I'd say like rackets or tennis things basically. They basically funded me this whole time, which was very, very nice of them and was a great opportunity. So Mark was a big help in that aspect. Not only that, but he also helped better me by funding me for tennis camps. So he sent me to Wooster, Ohio for 3 years in a row, I believe, which was very, very fun. I sat there for a week. It was a lot of tennis, eat, sleep, tennis, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the week, I didn't want to play tennis at all. I was kind of tennised out, if you'd so say. So I took like a 2 day break. So tennis is very, very big in my life to this day. Even though I am 21, I can still bust out my knees and still keep it going, even though my grandparents say that I need to be careful with my old age, even though I'm not even that old, you know? But other than that, that's how it go. That's
Yeah.
how it went.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's such a great story, great childhood experience, and then you brought up to where you are now today in college. Tennis is a lifelong sport. Brought myself and Tori together basically. Mark Reverman, I volunteer with. Mark and I, we volunteer with. It was called Chicago Tennis Patrons. Now we're serve and return Chicago, and Tori's one of the awesome individuals out there, not just a daily grinder, but a role model in Chicago area for youth tennis and just going through programs that we support. Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. Yeah, it is actually a great program. They actually do a lot of funding for those who are low income families, those who have a passion for this sport, and those who are willing to just like give their all, which is very, very very rare these days because, kids are always so into other things rather than their passions because there's so many other factors and stressors in our lives that like take over. And I can say that from experience from like growing up from being in Chicago to then switching to the suburbs of Chicago. It's a big transition, and there's a lot of factors that just like steer you from your dreams, your passions, and there's just people who aren't really in your corner, and you really got to rely on those who are very well grounded and stable. And I'm actually glad to say that Mark, my family, and great close friends have helped me a lot through my years, especially my best friend Taylor Sabo. She's helped a lot. She's been there through my growth and also my lowest moments. Of course, my family has as well, but like I said, tennis is a lifelong sport, and so is family. So those are the big main factors that make me who I am today.
That's really great stuff, Tori. Yeah, sport of tennis brings people together, inspires us. People like Tori have inspired others on and off the court. So really great connection here. I was going to ask you, Tori, has tennis been an influence now in what you started or has inspired to what you're doing right now, like focus in science?
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that because when I was actually a young buck in, I'd say, eighth or seventh grade, I had to do a physics project, and I actually decided to do it on tennis. So there's a lot of physics that go into tennis. And with that project, I just realized that with tennis, and right now in like the science realm, is that um, physics, that the whole idea is like with kinetic energy, everything is always moving. And when you think about it, is that in the world, everything is always moving and nothing stops unless it's there's like some type of hold or halt to it. And I feel like with my everyday life that no matter how much that I want to stop, I just always keep moving because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel that pushes me to keep moving. And I'd say that I'm very religious. With that being said, my grandparents are pastors and have been for the last 30 years or more in the inner city of Chicago, which is why I have a lot of love for Chicago and the inner city and always wanting to help people, which has also brought me to the love of wanting to be a doctor. And I feel tennis has also brought me that love as well because in tennis, when you have a doubles partner, you grow with that connection of to that person, and you just always want them to do their best. You want them to be determined. You want them to push themselves. You want them to feel what you feel once everything is aligned. And I just feel as if in my life today, I'm always pushing myself because in the end of the day, I'm in my corner and there's people who I'm going to be helping in the near future as a doctor, and I'm going to be in their corner and they're going to be rooting for me once somebody's on that operating table or once like somebody is in need of like some type of surgery or some type of diagnosis. Like I want them to be cheering for me as much as I'm cheering for them at the end of the day.
I like it. Yeah, that's really well said, and how you put it in regards to have that squad or that that support system to help motivate you internally and externally and get you through those tough days, or also you make a difference. You're saving lives out there. There's not a lot of people that's a direct connection. So that's really good stuff. First of all, you're making history on today's episode. First, I think future doctor that I've had as a special guest. So that's a pretty cool shot.
Yeah, soon I'll have MD in the next 4 years, 4 to 6 years. So anyone who wants an autograph, I will be sure to send you one.
For sure. The autograph's probably going to be worth more than like Roger Federer's or something. Yeah, for sure in the medical realm, like Roger Federer doesn't even have an MD after his name, so
No, but I'm sure he can still beat me in tennis. But I mean, I'll take that beating any day to play with Roger Federer.
for sure. Another second thing on history as well is you being a current student during this whole COVID-19 um, situation going on, pandemic. So how has that, I guess, affected or impacted your current studies?
Yeah, so honestly, all I have to say is it is the most weirdest thing ever because like when you go into college and they're like, "Oh yeah, like science classes can't be taken online." And you're like, that's weird. Okay. But now all of a sudden all my science classes are online. So I just feel like my whole life I've been lied to, I've been betrayed. I just feel like they just totally like rigged the system.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done it online. I'm just saying like I could have been doing this a long time ago. But then again, I'm a more of a hands-on learner. I'm more of a visual learner. I need that person-on-person interaction. I'm not even old, but I like that old school stuff. Like I just need that person interaction. I need somebody to explain it to me fully. I need to see their body language. I need to see that they're passionate. I'm not saying that me looking at them on a Zoom screen isn't enough because it isn't. As funny as that
Mm-hmm.
sounds, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I feel like technology is just going to consume all type of in-person learning, all of it.
Yeah, things are changing. Lots of fluidity in the market, in the industry, in education, all over the place. So, lots more Zoom calls, Skype calls, things like that. Working remote. Your host truly is working remote or has been. I've been working remote now for like over a month and a half now, which is crazy. So yeah, the situation is very unique, and so we're hoping to get back to the usual schedule, things like that. I prefer, like you, Tori, I prefer doing stuff like in person because I feel like you get more out of it, and I believe you with that whole learning. Like it's that's what that's what they told you to begin with. You were gonna do it in person. Now it's different. Crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
most definitely. And I'm not saying that it's not a good substitution. I'm just saying that for those who are so accustomed or need those like special accommodations, I just feel like it's hard for them. And I just feel like there's a disadvantage for those. And I feel for them because some people do need that in person learning and some people do need that push. Or even those like, I know we don't talk about it in today's society, but those people who have like mental illness, I know that they're going kind of buck wild because they just need that interaction. They just need that support system. And I just want them to know that people are always here for them and there's always going to be great support systems, even though it might be in the darkest moments, like right now during the COVID, that it all seems like everything's crumbling and like we're not going to see a brighter day since we're all locked inside, or we can't even go out and just like enjoy the fresh air. But I just want people to know that this is only temporary and it's not going to last forever, and that every day is a new day, and just make the best out of it, even if it is just making your bed to make you feel complete. You just need to keep pushing, and that there's always going to be a rainbow at the other side of the uh, cloudy and rainy
Yeah,
day.
for sure. Yeah, you gotta stay positive through this. Like you mentioned, Tori, this is temporary. This is not, a permanent fixture in our society. So, yeah, with that being said, like your regular schedule wise, I guess could you walk us through? I mean, every day is different for you, with your studies and working and all that. But could you kind of give us a day in the life of Tori in regards to like what you do, or like how you optimize your whole entire schedule, or you can pick any day you'd like.
Yeah, so honestly, I'll just give you my whole week. I'll substitute my whole week.
Oh, okay.
So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have my classes. So I'm in class from 8:30 in the morning to 4:15 in the afternoon. So I take 5 classes, and that is my day. So that's pretty much it. I don't really do much on those days besides sit in front of my computer, eat some goldfish, and then drink lots of water, stay hydrated. After that, I'll probably just go on a run if I can. But on the days that I'm not doing online classes, I actually work. So my daily grind consists of waking up 2 hours before I have to go to work. So I wake up and I go on a 30-minute run. I run around my subdivision for about a mile. With that being said, I'll come back and I'll make some eggs, which is okay, and then I'll have a smoothie. I try and be healthy sometimes, but it gets the best of me. I'll have like a chocolate cake shake from Portillo's. If you guys haven't had that, or from people who are out of state, you're missing out. You guys really need to come to Chicago. It's the
Oh,
best thing
so
ever.
good. So good.
Um, on top of that, I'll get ready for work and I'll be at work for 8 hours a day. After that, I'll have family dinner with my grandparents, which is really nice because I do live with my grandparents right now. On top of that, basically my daily grind is just taking care of myself and having a lot of self-love during this time because I can't really go out. Oh, it also consists of a lot of online shopping.
Mhm.
A lot of online shopping.
Mhm. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's like
sounds very bad.
the only thing that we can do like at this point during the COVID, just stay at home with all the brick and mortar stores closed at this time. You can only do curbside pickup or online shopping. So you gotta make the most of it. Staying positive. Definitely can tell your daily grinder out there in regards to lots of stuff going on your schedule, working, studying, finding family time. What's like maybe some tips or advice to our listeners out there in regards to, optimizing your time or trying to stay organized or staying like having staying physically active or, finding that balance. Would you recommend anything, Tori, for people out there or something that
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. So, finding that perfect balance is finding that balance within you. So, for me, I find my balance because I tend to sleep a lot. I know that sounds really bad, but then again, like that's my older side coming out of me. I like to stay up late, but sleep through the mornings. So I think I find myself waking up early in the morning to feel like I'm not wasting my day. I wake up not super early because I know some people aren't really morning people. I wake up at like 9:30, which is a pretty decent time. And then I just start my day. I wake up and I make sure I make my bed. So I feel like I did something right. It makes me feel like I got something done. I also keep a calendar and I write a to-do list of things I need to do for the day. And I try and do as many as I can, or if not the whole list, just to make me feel like I completed something during this time. Because usually during times where we aren't during the COVID, is I usually get everything that I need to do done because I'm not even thinking about it. But since all we're doing is sitting at home, we're kind of going crazy. Like we're trying to figure out what to do, what to make, what to see, who to talk to, what should I do? Like, am I doing this right? Like, everything is running through our minds, but we never take the time to like actually like worry about ourselves. So I feel like it actually is all up to you and the way you think and your mindset. So I also like to read. So I am reading a book called A Million Little Pieces, which is actually a great read. I highly recommend it. Um, on top of that, I've been watching a lot of Netflix. So there's really not much to do, but it's also all a mindset, like I said.
Yeah, having that positive mindset and, just being able to not overthink things, but just kind of don't be super distraught by what's all going on right now. You just got to stay focused, find out, achieve those small goals here and there, making your bed, doing the small things. All these little things add up. And as long as you're like, mentally healthy and being able to, not get irritated, what you're seeing about and just like you gotta find one of our other guests that we've had in the show, you just gotta find a new way to motivate yourself, basically, like a new norm, I guess, in a sense,
Yeah,
temporarily.
most definitely. Or like pick up a hobby, even if it's like croqueting. I know, not croqueting, knitting. That's what it's called. Knitting, croqueting is that one sport I think that you just like hit that ball through the little loops.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I don't know.
Crocheting, I think.
Right?
Crocheting. Yeah, crochet is the knit format, but yeah, croqueting I think is the ball one.
Yeah, right? Is that right? It
Yeah,
might
I
be
think
totally wrong. I don't know.
mhm.
Um, yeah, no, pick up new hobbies. I found myself I've been reading a lot. I've been listening to a lot of music. I've actually taken up painting. I used to be a big art fan, like an artist back in high school. So I picked up that with like pastels, acrylic paints, lots of abstract stuff. I've been doing a lot of family time. So just take this time and be with your family because you never know, guys. You never know what can happen. You never know. Tomorrow's not promised.
Mhm.
So I just say live every day like your last,
Mhm. Yeah.
however you want to live it.
Yep. Stay safe, stay healthy, pick up that new hobby, find ways to de stress or relax, things like that. Myself, I've actually started doing yoga every day a little bit in the morning, just as a different routine, something else you don't think about. So, just being able, flexibility, try new things out that you can to your extent, or and you never know. You might find a new passion, something that you'll carry forward down the road, years to come. So things like that. Tori, do you have like favorite things you do like at daily basis, like at work, or I know you help people out a lot. Like you mentioned, you love helping out others at your full time job.
Yes. Yeah. So at my full time job, I actually do have a lot of patient interaction, which is very, very nice. I enjoy that due to the fact that I don't mean to brag or I don't mean to boast about myself, but I'm very, very personable. I enjoy talking a lot, and I'm sure you guys can understand that from listening to this podcast because I'm a nonstop talker. Um, I don't know what it is, but I just enjoy listening to everybody. I enjoy seeing people smile. I enjoy listening to people come to me about their problems. I enjoy people telling me jokes. I enjoy people just like letting everything go. And I want to have that connection with people. And I just feel like at work, you build those relationships. And even with my coworkers, we're so very tight knit that I just feel as if that we are a family and that we can rely on each other greatly. And at work, there's a lot of patients who I feel are just absolutely amazing. Today, I'd say I had someone come in and compliment me in the craziest way that I started crying. I couldn't even tell you why I started crying. It was just the most beautiful thing that she said, and I just totally lost it. And it's just like those little things, like during these times that we just feel like everything is crashing down, that um, it's just that one compliment or that one saying or that one phrase that someone says that just lifts you up and just brings that fire and passion in your spirit or that feeling of happiness.
Yeah.
And at work, it's just being in like a medical field. I just feel like I'm meant to be there because I just have love for those in need. And I just feel like that is my calling.
That's beautiful. Um, yeah, Tori right here, listeners, she's very inspirational just with your words, and you can tell you're very passionate about what you do. And I forgot to ask you in the intro, but I mean you're still pretty young in your studies right now, but do you know what you want to specialize in yet for medical?
Yes, I actually want to be a neurosurgeon. So I want to be a brain surgeon. I want to specifically work in a brain trauma unit, basically trauma units in the ER. My dream job is to work at Rush in Chicago. So I want to come back to my roots. The city never sleeps, so therefore I will not either. Um, I just want the full possible experience. I want to see those I know this sounds very bad, but I want to see those who are just on their last limb, and I just want to be the one to save them. And I know for some people that's very traumatic, and very dramatic, but at the same time, I want to be that person held accountable. And I feel like I can do it. And I feel I'm very determined and I'm very passionate. And I just want to give them everything that I have to offer.
Hmm. That's really cool. I like it. Yeah, definitely our first doctor, brain neurosurgeon. I'm just butchering all the exact phrases. As
It's
you can,
okay.
yeah, as you can tell, I don't have a medical background, but yeah, I really aspire what you do. One of my college roommates back in the day, he was studying in the medical field, so shout out to Dan Chen out there if you're listening to this. But so I have a very brief very brief background or knowledge on that area. Shout out also to Wendy's son who's also studying in the medical field. But that's those are some of my Wisconsin colleagues. But yeah, that's awesome. Rush University. Um, did you did you have any of your family have background in studying the medical field, or are you the first of your family to do this field?
So my grandma, she was actually a health administrator. All during her years, when she was very young, she was a health administrator for, I'd say about 30 to 40 years until she switched to being a pastor, actually. She actually worked at Rush in Chicago. She worked at the rehabilitation center. She worked everywhere that you can possibly think of in the health field. And with that being said, my grandma holds a special place in my heart because she has so much compassion and so much drive and passion to help others. And I feel like I hold some of that within myself to help those in need as well. And I would say that she is in our family the glue that keeps us all together because she is so loving and she will give her last dollar, her last meal to those in need. And I just feel like with her, she has grown on me as a person to help those in need as well. So I just feel like it's a calling that I need to do. And with that being said, also what brought me to the medical field is that my brother, Joseph, he was diagnosed with a heart condition when he was actually a newborn child. He had a bicuspid valve of the aorta, which is basically, in simpler terms, the main artery to his heart was closing. So they had to do immediate heart surgery. So when I was young, I always saw my brother in and out of the hospital with many different surgeries, many different complications. And for me, I just wanted to be his hero. So I wanted to be a cardiac surgeon. I wanted to be a cardiologist. Soon that changed because I realized I couldn't save my brother because there would be some type of emotional tie to it. So then I became engrossed in psychology, which then led me to neurology.
That's great. I like that you have a personal tie into that interest, and it kind of inspired you to dive in a little bit deeper and now become an expert in your area and again future doctor. So which is great. I love the connections and how it's very beautiful your story. And it makes and you are very unique in regards to what you're doing and what you want to do with your work down the road. So very goal driven, super inspirational. Again, Daily Grinder, great example and illustrates a really great story to share with our listeners. And hopefully, out there, you're inspired by Tori's story and what she does to achieve your goal, your daily goals, your weekly goals, what you're looking to do down the road, things like that. So, yeah, Tori, we talked about your daily schedule. So, what's on your daily grind in the upcoming weeks later this year?
Yeah, so my upcoming weeks, so I finish out my semester tomorrow, uh, tomorrow actually, with all my finals and everything, so I'll be done for the summer. With that being said, I'll be working full time at my job, which will be something, and hopefully there will be a summer for us. I pray. I pray to God that there will be because I am in need of some sunlight. I'm looking a little like Casper the ghost. Um, After that, I plan to take the MCAT, which is the medical test to go into medical school. So that'll be kind of nerve-wracking. So I'll be doing a lot of studying by the poolside if possible. With that being said, I'll also be trying to shadow a doctor or a neurosurgeon, if possible. If right now I do shadow a doctor at Northwestern Medicine Del Nor, which is very, very exciting. Um, I do that once out of the week, but right now during the COVID, he has actually closed down his practice. But I have no fear that it'll open up back sooner rather than later. Also, with that being said, I'm just going to keep up with a lot of self love and a lot of keeping time to myself and just not falling behind with what is on the bigger picture, you know?
Yeah, that's a great game plan to have coming ahead of us. Yeah, let's do a little bit of, because you're Chicago local, you're from the area, so we want to share with our listeners the best of the best. We got one of the best future doctors out here on the pod, so we want to give a shout out to, you mentioned Portillo's earlier, but let's say if this COVID wasn't going on, what are some of the places that you frequent or would recommend for, let's say, food or, you know, a good place to eat for people? Hopefully our summer isn't ruined by this, but to check out or in the area.
Oh, yes. Okay, so if you are anywhere in downtown Chicago, I recommend Maxwell Street Polish, which is off of Halsted, which is amazing. It is basically like a little hot dog joint and a Polish joint. I get the Polish with fries and a grape soda. Amazing, very very good. After that, I'll head over to Mario's Italian Ice, which is over in Little Italy, off of Taylor Street. That is amazing. It's a little nice dessert. It is homemade. So shout out to them. I've been going there for a long, long time. If you're a big fan of pizza, I do enjoy Demenzo's Pizza, which is right down the street from Mario's Italian Ice. Very, very good. They have huge slices, bigger than my head, and my head is pretty big if you ask me. um, what else? I love all types
Yeah.
of food,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I'm a food connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for Mexican, I highly suggest Tequila's CJ Cantina off of Archer Avenue, which is kind of close to Chicago downtown, but kind of like the suburbs of Chicago. Very great. I recommend getting the tacos norteños. Great, great food actually.
Mm-hmm. All sounds delicious. And these are, again, a lot of great local businesses to support. I don't know if any of these currently do curbside or pickup delivery or takeout at this time, but definitely want to support our small businesses once we are able to reopen. So these are great ideas. We're definitely going to put in these restaurants in today's show notes. We'll also put Tori's book recommendation earlier and all this fun stuff. Tori, do you have a word of the day?
Yes, I actually do have the word of the day. I actually have a quote actually. It is actually I actually have to pull it up right now.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
It it's actually from Dolly Parton, actually. I know it's kind of funny, but um the quote is, "The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain." And I think this is very important during this time right now because right now it feels like everything is just full of water and we are just getting drenched in all this rain, and we kind of can't see the sunlight that's going to be coming, but sooner or later the sun's going to be shining. There's going to be a great rainbow, and in all our lives today, even my own and yourselves who are listening, even Kelly's life, there's going to be a great rainbow, and we're going to see everything that life has to offer, actually.
Wonderful, just wonderful. I'm just like visualizing it as you speak, and I'm looking forward to it. So, good things to come ahead and even more down the road, which is really exciting. Tori, if our listeners want to get in touch with you after this podcast, how can they do so?
Yeah, so guys, I do have a Instagram. My Instagram is Tori Tori. My last name is Maldonado. It's kind of a crazy last name, but it's Maldonado_. Or you can also friend me on Facebook. It's my name. That's it. Or you can follow me on Twitter. You can find me on all social media platforms. I'm very responsive. I love everybody. I'm also looking forward to hearing from you guys. And if you guys want to catch up or even reach out to me, or if you guys need some type of motivation, I'm always here for you guys.
I like it. We like it. Everyone, our listeners, your host. We will put Tori's contact info in today's show notes, as always. So we want to say thanks again for tuning in today's episode, and a big thank you to Tori for being on the podcast. When it comes to sharing my story, be sure to follow the Daily Grind at KJF Daily Grind on Instagram and me, your host, at Kelly J. Lefty on Instagram or Twitter. Make sure to go to our podcast network website, ambiguouspodcastsolutions.com, for more content such as You Mad Bro, the Sam Bustle podcast, and GDP, Goal Driven Professionals. Listen on Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until next time, my name is Kelly Johnson, and have a great day.